By the mid-1920s, Capone's empire was in full swing. Speakeasies, nightclubs, breweries, all connected through a hidden financial network. Out here, it's what most people, Don, TC. The money behind the scenes was as important as the liquor on the shelves. Capone's bankers didn't just store his cash. They advised him on investments, helped him buy properties, and even funded side ventures. For instance, when Capone wanted to build a new nightclub or expand a brewery, banks provided loans as if he were a normal businessman. No questions asked. And accountants. They turned mountains of illegal cash into legitimate earnings. By documenting expenses, payroll, and inventory, they created financial records that looked completely legal. If anyone investigated, it appeared he was just a wealthy entrepreneur, not a gangster. We often think of gangsters using violence to control their empire. That's true to an extent. But the real secret of Capone's success was risk management through finance. For example, he never kept all his money in one place. His cash flowed through multiple accounts, investments, and shell companies. If police raided one location, the empire could keep running. Capone also used insurance creatively. Yes, insurance. He bought policies on shipments of liquor and other assets. The shipment was lost, stolen, or raided. He could claim damages. This reduced financial risk and made his operations almost bulletproof, at least financially. Think about the people enabling this empire. Bank managers, accountants, insurance agents, and even some lawyers were all part of the system. Most weren't criminals. They were professionals taking calculated risks, attracted by the promise of massive profit. It's important to understand that this was not recklessness. Capone's empire was organized like a corporate business. Every dollar was tracked, every investment planned, every risk measured. Violence was only used when negotiations failed or rivals threatened the business. Even with bankers and accountants, Capone couldn't escape every system. The IRS eventually became his downfall. Why? Because the IRS could follow the money. They didn't care about bootlegging or speakeasies. They focused on income. Capone had spent years masking his profits, but accountants can only do so much. In 1931, the government convicted Capone for income tax evasion. No shootouts, no gang wars, just paperwork. 11 years in prison. The financial network that had made him untouchable couldn't protect him from the government's accounting tools. Here's what we can learn from this story, and it's simple enough for a 10-year-old to understand. Money follows demand. Alcohol was illegal, but people still wanted it. That demand created huge profits. Finance is power. Even a criminal empire needed banks, accountants, and insurance. Money has rules, and understanding them gives control. Diversification protects wealth. Capone didn't rely on one source. Liquor, gambling, prostitution, real estate, spreading risk kept him alive financially. Transparency is a trap if mismanaged. Capone's downfall wasn't bullets. It was the tax system. Even the clever schemes have vulnerabilities. The story of Capone isn't just history. Today, similar lessons happen in cryptocurrency, cannabis markets, offshore finance, and even tech startups. Crypto started as a gray area. Early adopters made fortunes before regulators caught up. Legal cannabis markets replaced illegal operations, but smart businesses followed the rules to turn underground profit into legal revenue. Our banks and accountants still play a key role in moving, tracking, and legitimizing money. The principle is always the same. Where there's demand, someone finds a way to supply it. And understanding the financial system is the key to profiting safely. Capone's empire fell, but his story lives on because it teaches a timeless lesson. Financial infrastructure matters more than brute force. Gangsters get the headlines, but the invisible helpers, the bankers, accountants, and strategists, show how money moves through systems and people. Even today, many people overlook this. They focus on the crime, the drama, the violence. But the real lesson? Structured, and those who understand the structure can control it, legally or illegally. So, next time you hear about gangsters, don't just think about guns and speakeasies. Think about the financial systems behind them. Capone's story shows us money finds a way. Systems matter. Rules can be bent, but never ignored. Understanding finance gives you power, legally or otherwise. And that's why Al Capone, the gangster everyone remembers for his violence, was really a financial genius in disguise. He had a secret team of bankers, accountants, and strategists, making him richer than most people could imagine. History isn't just about the past, it's about patterns. If you understand these patterns, you can spot opportunities today before anyone else does. So whether it's cryptocurrencies, cannabis, or new industries yet to emerge. The lesson is the same. Study the money, understand the system, and follow the gaps between law and demand. If this story blew your mind, hit subscribe. History has secrets everywhere. I'll show you where to look next. You know, Al Capone, the gangster everyone remembers. The violence, the speakeasies, the legendary empire. But here's the secret almost no one talks about. He didn't get rich alone. Some of the richest bankers and financiers in Chicago quietly helped him get there. How could a criminal like Capone depend on bankers? And why would legitimate institutions risk their reputation to help a gangster? The answer is simple. Money always finds a way, and the law couldn't stop it. This is the hidden story of how organized crime and Wall Street-style finance collided, creating one of the most unusual business empires in American history. By the end of this video, you'll see that Capone wasn't just a criminal. He was a financial genius with a secret team behind him. To understand this, we need to go back to the 1920s. The United States had just passed the 18th Amendment, banning alcohol. The government called it Prohibition. The promise: society would become safer, families stronger, and crime would vanish. Reality: people still wanted alcohol. Demand didn't disappear. Prices shot up. And wherever there's money to be made, someone will make it. Enter Al Capone, a young gangster from Brooklyn who moved to Chicago. Capone didn't just sell alcohol. He built a network, controlling production, distribution, and even the speakeasies themselves. Here's the part no one talks about. Capone's empire wasn't just cash in the alley. It relied on a secret financial ecosystem. Banks, accountants, and even insurance agents helped him move millions of dollars without drawing attention. Think about it. Capone earned an estimated $100 million a year in the 1920s. That's around $1.5 billion today. You don't carry that in a suitcase. You can't hide that under a mattress. To run a business like his, he needed liquidity, safety, and secrecy. Exactly what a bank provides. Capone's team used money laundering, a method still used today by criminals and sometimes even corporations. In simple terms, they took illegal cash and made it look legitimate. They invested in restaurants, nightclubs, and hotels. Why? These businesses handle a lot of cash, naturally. A nightclub making $10,000 in a night. Nobody questions it, but behind the scenes, some of that cash came from bootlegging. Now, here's where the bankers come in. Certain local banks didn't ask too many questions. They processed deposits, gave loans, and even helped Capone buy real estate, all while keeping his operations legal on paper. Why would they do this? Because Capone's money was profitable and steady. Risky, yes, but controlled risk. In a city where so many businesses went bankrupt during the 1920s, a gangster with millions was a very attractive client. Capone also had accountants, people trained in the emerging field of forensic finance. Their job? To make sure income tax returns didn't expose the empire. This wasn't just bookkeeping, it was strategic financial engineering. Fun fact: Capone's eventual downfall came not from bullets, but from the IRS. Despite all the violence and bribes, the government could prosecute him for tax evasion. That's how powerful and intertwined his financial system was. Capone's empire worked because money and influence were inseparable. bribes ensured protection from the police. Politicians ignored illegal activities. Even judges sometimes turned a blind eye. Banks processed his cash. Accountants cleaned the numbers. Insurance companies covered his risky shipments. In short, the line between crime and legitimate business blurred completely. Here's how it worked, step by step. Alcohol is produced illegally. It is distributed to speakeasies and nightclubs. Cash flows back to the organization. Accountants and bankers help mask the origin of the money. Some profits are reinvested in other ventures, restaurants, gambling, or real estate. This method spread the risk and kept the empire running even when parts were raided or competitors attacked. Capone wasn't just a gangster. He was a financial strategist operating in an underground market. Most stories focus on shootouts, violence, and turf wars. That's dramatic, yes. But the real reason Capone became a billionaire? Finance, not firearms. His ability to understand money, systems, and human behavior was unmatched. And here, the kicker. The lessons from Capone's empire aren't just history. Businesses, cryptocurrencies, and even legal cannabis markets follow similar principles: scarcity, demand, and clever financial structuring. The only difference is legality.